Obsidian has taken a nostalgic trip back to the tundra for Pillars of Eternity's first major piece of DLC, and the frozen setting of the White March isn't the only thing that brings to mind the combat-focused games of the Icewind Dale series. The focus here is firmly on battle, exploration and looting. That means that a little of the character and mystery of the main game is lost, but there's still plenty of fun to be had. The White March takes place about a third of the way through Pillars' main story, though it can be pursued at any time afterwards, and it even scales dynamically if you're of a higher level. After a message lands on the doorstep of your personal fortress at Cadnua, you head off to the frozen village of Stalwart. This rundown former mining town, which will immediately bring back memories of East Haven for any Icewind Dale fans, has fallen on hard times. These hard times have only gotten worse recently, as a tribe of ogres wielding cannons has decided to attack the town and murder everyone in it. Fortunately for the puny villagers, you arrive just in time to fend off that attack, and quickly get roped into a scheme to enter the forbidden dungeon of Durgan's Battery and find the White Forge, a legendary dwarven creation that could provide Stalwart with the means to reclaim its former glory. Forge in question can craft Durgan's steel, which is apparently better than all the other kinds of steel. Cards on the table here, the main plot in the White March never really comes together. It all feels a bit superfluous. Why would the Watcher, cursed seer of souls, bother wandering all the way into the frozen waste on the off chance they might get a better sword? There are a few attempts to tie Pillars' main plot into the expansion, but they're largely inconsequential, and the very nature of your main objective can't help but make your trip north feel a bit like an extended side mission. That's not to say there aren't any engaging quests in this expansion, because there definitely are, but taken as a new chapter of your hero's story, the White March does feel a bit lightweight. Thankfully, the new locations are all fun to explore and packed with treats, and combat encounters are varied and challenging. There are some really tough fights here, including an optional scrap against a dragon that will absolutely destroy your party if you come unprepared. Again, if you put up with Pillars' combat system in order to enjoy the storytelling, this expansion might not be for you. There is a lot of fighting and little opportunity to really talk your way out of trouble. Cragholt Bluffs, the second segment of the expansion that takes place back in the Deerwood, is a high level zone which is practically all hack and slash murder. Pacifists need not apply. On the positive side, there are plenty of new enemies to keep combat fresh, some excellent loot, and 2 new levels if you're playing a high level character. That means new spells and abilities, some of which are really fun, like the Barbarian's ability to leap into battle and slam down amongst the enemy. You can also track down new soulbound weapons, legendary artifacts that become increasingly powerful as you fulfill certain requirements. Of course, this wouldn't be an Obsidian game without a couple of interesting new characters to recruit. The first you'll meet is Zahwa, a fighting monk from an ascetic order that teaches the doctrine of social alienation and ritual scarification. As well as possessing probably the finest NPC introduction scene Obsidian has ever come up with, Zahwa's an amusing presence whose off-key view of the world provides some nice moments of levity. He's the sort of guy who'll be happily munching hallucinogenic mushrooms as you trudge through the frozen wilderness. The Devil of Karok is the second potential recruit, a cynical, wryly sardonic, soulbound construct who's not even attempting to hide her bloody past. To be fair, she does have some understandable reasons for her cold-blooded lack of remorse, and as always, prying away at her backstory until you approach something resembling the truth is a satisfying distraction from all the hacking and slashing. For the most part, Pillars' travelling companions are a fairly easygoing lot, so it's nice to see Obsidian throw a morally dubious, if not outright evil character into the mix. Pillars of Eternity largely shies away from the inter-party strife that the Baldur's Gate games gleefully partook of, but there are a few nice, snappy lines of dialogue between the new recruits and your merry band. The character work in general in the White March Part 1 is very strong, as you'd expect from Obsidian, deft and creative in all the ways that the main quest isn't. On a purely mechanical level, it's also nice to have the option of adding an NPC monk and rogue to your party, as both previously went unrepresented. Both new characters can also, thankfully, be taken back into the core game. The White March Part 1 is far more reminiscent of the hack and slash adventuring of the Icewind Dale series than the more thoughtful, philosophical nature of Pillars of Eternity, and as a result, the story never feels quite as engaging. Hunting down magical weapons is a decent enough concept for a side mission, but as a full-length expansion, it feels a little bit lightweight, with none of the world-affecting impact of the main game story. There are still moments where the world building shines. I'm still fascinated by the complex cosmology and theology of the world that's been created here, and I'm itching to see more of that, but I never felt that I had as much of a personal stake in what was going on. Fortunately, a couple of interesting new faces to add to your party, some great loot, and a few truly brutal combat challenges are enough to make the White March Part 1 worth your while. It's not essential and it's not close to the best that Obsidian is capable of, but it is another perfectly enjoyable few hours of looting and adventuring. GameWatcher scores Pillars of Eternity The White March Part 1 7.5 out of 10. For more from GameWatcher, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on Twitter at GameWatcherCom.
Let's go! Let's go!